All right, we're live. Good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching this at. Welcome back, Sean.
Hey, how you doing, Rich? Good to see you.
Doing good. Yeah, we lost you last week. You were on a vacation, a cruise, and I had Rollo and Anthony hop in. So show went pretty good. But how was your trip?
It was good. Got a little quality time with the ocean, did a little scuba diving and bobbing around the ocean for a few hours. That was pretty fun.
Nice. Are you a big
Yeah.
scuba diver, or is it first time?
First time.
Cool. Yeah, I've done scuba diving in a pool. I found it's a different thing when you go in the ocean. There's a hell of a lot more going on in the sea than there is in a swimming pool.
There is, and we were swimming right off a barrier reef, and so there was a lot to pay attention to with trying not to drown and die, but then also a lot going on around me, which is pretty cool. So I'll do it again.
Nice, nice,
So
nice.
yeah.
So tonight's topic, we're doing an opening chat on when she throws hissy fits. We also have a link in the news that Sean wants to go through from a publication. But yeah, I figured it's always good to start every show with some kind of theme. And a hissy fit by a woman's a red flag. Um, Sometimes they're very frequent. In fact, I had a sponsored request yesterday that came in that I did a video on. And this guy was basically in a sexless relationship, a toxic relationship. And one of the problems that he identified in his request was she was throwing hissy fits. So women tend to do these. It's almost like it's a declaration of, it's like a last resort for them, I believe, when other forms of communication don't seem to work. And it usually is, I had a friend that got into a bit of a spat with his girl, and she did one of these hissy fits where it was like, well, just leave my shit on the front porch and I'll come over and pick it up. Right. Um, do you talk to a lot of people in your practice that have to deal with hissy fits and what they're all about? And can you maybe explain why they would be a red flag and why somebody might want to pay attention to them?
Well, yeah, they're a red flag because if you're dating somebody with the purpose of letting them into your inner circle, you definitely want to watch for stuff like this. And this is why I advocate guys need to be dating women if they're serious for at least a couple of years, a year and a half to make sure you're out of that honeymoon phase. And then 4 seasons after that, just to see how she dances in the moonlight, so to speak. But yeah, hissy fits and that kind of lack of emotional regulation doesn't usually get better when a person gets comfortable in a relationship when they start to drop their guard. So the reason you date for a long time is so you can give them the opportunity for these things to pop up. And I guess my thought on it is, when you're in your 30s and 40s and on, you should pretty much have a handle on these things. Everybody in their 20s probably loses their shit once in a while. The question is she willing to address the problem and fix it?
Yeah, exactly. If they're willing to take ownership, like if they happen frequently, and it's used as a control mechanism, what's your view on that?
Manipulation. I mean, there's productive ways to get your needs met, and there's unproductive ways to get your needs met that make everybody else miserable and push everybody else away. And in my book, I talk quite a bit about some of the things that you need to be looking for in terms of emotional maturity, things like insight and intellectual nuance and resilience and internalization, which you just mentioned, and self-maintenance. And if you find these qualities, I think I mentioned 5 of them specifically in the book, and you find these qualities in a person, there's a pretty low chance that they're going to be the kind of person that's going to have to rely on hissy fits to get what they need, because by definition, they have the resources they need to navigate the world.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a default response, because that's what kids do. Like if you ever seen throw a hissy fit, like I've seen my daughter throw like a 3-year-old hissy fit, like face down, hands and legs thumping on the ground, having like a full-on spaz, looking for the attention. I mean, it's a very childish kind of behavior, but adults still do it. It's just we kind of do it a different way, right?
Yeah, we get more sophisticated about it. When's the last time you saw your daughter do it? 'Cause she's 8 now, right? 8 or 9?
She's 9. I mean, she'll be 10 this year, but it's probably about 3-ish. I mean, she tries to pull one every once in a while, but they don't go anywhere. It's just like, yeah, we've seen this before. I don't think this is going to be responded to.
Yeah, probably because you're giving her a lot of other options that she can draw on besides just having a hissy fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a link here from you. You emailed me. You wanted to talk about from one of your publications. It says sex-specific regulation of fear memory by targeted epigenetic. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Editing of CDK5. That sounds very sophisticated and deep.
Yeah, it's a little over my head, but the gist of it is that they did some research on mice, and epigenetics is the effect of the environment on gene expression. So the environment doesn't change your genes, but it changes sometimes the way genes get expressed, and particularly around stress and trauma and that sort of thing. So what they did is they switched on this gene in male mice and female mice, and they noticed a couple of differences. And one of, I guess the main difference was that the male mice tended to have better memories for traumatic events than the females did. And this, you always got to be really careful when you're generalizing from mice to human beings. But that's a sweet mug, by the way. I just noticed that when you lifted that up, that's got your face on it.
Yeah, I have a community member that sent that over as a gift. He put that on one side, the logo, and then that on the other.
That's awesome.
That's
Just distracted me. So generalizing from mice to people, you got to be careful. But this one little finding, it fits with what we know about the way men and women handle stress. And men tend to be more focused on direct environmental threats, and we have a good memory for these sorts of things. And that's why men, when they show up to therapy, a lot of times it was with PTSD, because they are having trouble letting go of something that they're actually supposed, their brain is supposed to hang on to it, right, for survival purposes. Women tend to worry more about existential threats and things that may or may not happen, and the threats tend to be more vague for them and more specific for us. And that's why a lot of times you'll see men and women having arguments over money, not really understanding what money represents to each of them. For guys like you and me, Rich, tell me if I'm wrong, but I tend to view money as freedom and opportunity, mainly freedom. And women,
I agree with that.
yeah, women in general tend to view it as a source of safety and security. And so coming at it from those two different angles, where women are worrying about these existential things, that causes a lot of tension in relationships. But the reason this really jumped out to me, this little piece of research, is because it was refreshing. We're coming off of the APA with their bullshit guidelines about how masculinity is a social construct and it's destructive and all of that. And meanwhile, there are researchers out there who are doing actual research and finding actual differences between men and women. And this is one of those little differences that adds up with all the other differences that gives us very different halves of the species.
And I just dug up the video that you referenced, because if you guys haven't seen it, you should really watch this after the broadcast. There's a link there. Just click it and have it open in a window. But Sean did this video on the APA's war on masculinity. And I think last week you were on vacation when Gillette had this thing that popped out with their little ad. What did you think of that ad, by the way?
Not sure what to make of it, because obviously it's social justice warrior nonsense. It's shaming men and is trying to shame them out of masculinity. But at the same time, when you take it in the context of that, like Nike's Kaepernick situation, where they went out and they stirred up a lot of emotion, they basically insulted their followers, their customer base, but then they got this huge influx of revenue from it. So I'm wondering if this is just genius marketing, where they looked at a trend where, hey, we can insult the bulk of our market share and it's going to profit us. I don't really understand how that works. Like, we got to get Gad Sad or something to talk about that.
Yeah, it's really weird, because when I first saw it, and I did a broadcast like a day or two after it came out, because my phone was blowing up. People were sending me the link, and you got to respond to this and comment on it. And I'd never seen anything like it before. I mean, last time I got something even close to that was when Whitney Cummings did the thing with Tinder, basically calling all men douchebags. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
Yeah, you can look that one up. But yeah, this was some new round of advertising done by a feminist marketing firm. And the interesting thing about it was, I thought about it as I was talking on my live broadcast, and it was like, this is either genius or it's the dumbest thing they've ever done. I know that it's going to alienate masculine men that thinks that it's insulting, but at the same time, we also know that one of the things that works really, really well is when you stand up loud and proud and declare what you stand up against, or something that you oppose. It's like George Bush rallied the entire nation about weapons of mass destruction. They never found shit, but if you stand up against something, then you'll form a crowd or a tribe or whatever it is that you want to call it, a posse. And they might have just done that by drawing in more feminists, more soy boys, more, left-leaning guys that think that masculinity sucks. It's bizarre, but I don't know, man. That's just the world we live in. Maybe maybe we'll do a show about that in more depth in the future. But we kind of want to keep this on the whole hissy fit thing. Um, Let me just say this before we open up the lines. What I'll do is let me grab the number because we kind of got to get things going here. And I need a producer. One day I will get a producer. Okay, so this is the call-in number. There we go. 323-642-1618. Blog Talk Radio is up and running, so you can hop in the queue. I want to say that we've got this chat set to member chat only tonight. So if you want to, hop in the chat and shoot the breeze with everybody, and as well ask questions, either of us or if something's happening on the screen, you click the join button over by the subscribe button. It's $4.99. It helps create the content on the channel. It gives you an in. It also saves me the time of playing whack-a-mole, dealing with the whack jobs that sometimes come into the chat and harass us. So yeah, Sean, you ready to hop in this and see if we can help some people avoid getting into a train wreck?
Yeah, let's do it.
So guys, reminder again, this is before the train wreck, not after the train wreck, not I have my life imploding on me. What do I do? It's, I'm my spidey senses are tingling. I'm seeing red flags. This is a potential red flag. What do you guys think? It's really just to vet situations and help you update your beliefs. So lines are open again. It's 323-642-1618. We got a couple callers on. Just want to shout out to the new member, John Diegler. Diegler or Dergler? Diegler, not Dirk Diegler. All right, let's take the first caller. Here we go. All right. 305, you're on. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, man. So what can we do to be useful for you? What are you stuck on right now?
So I'm in my first relationship ever right now. I'm 20, and things have been pretty good. She's very loyal, very supportive. Don't doubt her at all there. However, there have been some red flags that I'm kind of worried about. She's pretty addicted to weed, for one thing, daily smoker multiple times. And she's also very, very insecure, which I've tried to help her with, but she tends to just take it out on me every once in a while, which, not very fun.
And what's your
I'm wondering
first name, actually?
how you guys might deal with that.
Yeah. And what's your first name?
Sorry?
What's your first name?
Oh, Alex.
Alex. And how old are you and how old is she?
We're both 20.
20. Wow. Okay. And you're worried that she's too much of a pothead and too insecure about herself?
Essentially, yeah.
Now, when you say she smokes too much weed, like, is she comatose on the couch all day long, shoving Doritos into her face and drinking pop, or does she get anything done? Like, is she functional?
It depends. She tends to default more towards watching TV and eating, but not exclusively. Recently, she's been getting more into painting, which I've been happy about.
Okay. And why do you think she's insecure? Like what sort of behavior are you seeing that you believe makes her an insecure person?
So it's a couple different things. I'm not totally sure about root causes, but basically anytime we go out in public, it's a roll of the dice whether or not she's going to get triggered by seeing some random woman she assumes I'm going to find more attractive than her and just pick a fight about it.
What do you think about that, Sean?
Well, I want to know how much she's smoking every day. And how much are you smoking every day, Alex?
So I am not smoking every day. I limit myself to once or twice a week generally.
Okay.
And
what about her?
She's smoking about a full blunt every day.
When?
Throughout the day.
Okay. So she's a little bit checked out all the time, it sounds like.
Pretty much.
Like 10% not present in life, because I wrote a long blog post on this a couple of years ago. I'm not opposed to pot. I'm a very libertarian guy. I think people should do what they want to do, but there are some trade-offs to pot. And one of the trade-offs is if you're using it every day, you can knock about 5 points off your IQ. And there's a lot that you're not doing while you're smoking pot. You know, you're not growing as a person. And so she's kind of stuck at whatever age she started. How long has she been doing this?
I think about 2 years.
Why did she start?
She started after a bad breakup at the end of high school.
All right. So it's a little bit of not handling stress real well.
Yeah, exactly.
And how does she, not that it particularly matters, but how does she explain or justify the daily pot use now?
Well, I have spoken to her about it before, how I think it would be healthier psychologically for her to at least, cut back somewhat. And she's agreed with me logically about it and said that she will try to for a good chunk of our relationship, but there hasn't been any progress whatsoever. She's smoking, the exact same amount as when we started dating.
Does she work or is she a student?
She's working.
Full time?
Yeah. I think she's technically part-time, but she is working full-time hours.
And does she have a relationship with both her parents, her mom and dad?
Yeah, but not a good situation with either of them overall. That's another red flag I forgot about. Father was in and out a lot, cheating between both of her parents, all that kind of stuff.
So her parents.
So Alex, what's your intentions with this? I sound like an old guy from the 1800s. What are your intentions? Do you
honey?
You want to marry this girl, or what's the plan?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not totally sold on marriage whatsoever. When we first got together, I was definitely thinking there was a lot of potential for a very long-term relationship.
You still wanting to keep a long-term relationship with her?
I'm thinking so, but like I said, the red flags have me concerned.
Why do you want to be in a long-term relationship at 20 right now? Like, what?
Well, I'll be honest.
That would make that a
sleeping around with a lot of girls. Sorry, go ahead.
So, what does she bring to the table that would make that a good use of your time at 20? Aside from an overabundant supply.
Well, the level and quality of her support has really amazed me. Like, she's never like, the vast majority of the time she's totally chill, totally stable, like, ideal partner in my opinion.
I'm not sure that the problem is her as much as it is you. like the yardstick that you use to measure up an ideal partner, in my view, is a little bit broken. I don't know, Sean, what do you think?
Well, there's a lot to be said for low drama, but it sounds like, Alex, I'm picking up on what Rich is picking up, that it sounds like you're talking about what's not there. Like, there's not drama versus what is there. Are we hearing that right?
Yeah, I guess you're probably right there. The only other real experience I had with any girls was an extremely ill-advised long-distance relationship, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, had a lot of drama and ended poorly.
You said that this was your first girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
Lost your virginity to her?
I don't count the long-distance stuff.
Okay, but you lost your virginity to her like she's your first?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. You're just getting started, buddy. You got the one-itis for this thing. You think it's the best that you can get. She's a heavy pot smoker and she gets jealous. I mean, I've dated a woman before that was extremely jealous, like would manufacture indignation on a regular basis. She would find shit to make up fights over anything. And it's really exhausting. If you find yourself in a scenario where the jealousy or the indignation that she manufactures drains the crap out of you and you got to deal with it on a regular basis, that's not a red flag. That's an entire Chinese Communist parade waving red flags, and it's time for you to go. So, I mean, there's that part of the equation, but at the same time too, though, like, you got to look at it from your perspective as a 20-year-old guy. You got a life to build, you got things to do. and you're going to meet people that are going to be sails and people that are going to be anchors. And when the sail's up and running, the wind's blowing into it and you're really going somewhere. But if you got an anchor holding you back, like this chick who's sitting around getting stoned all the time, not doing much with her life, you're going to have a hard time making something of yourself and putting a dent in the universe and finding your purpose. So getting too wrapped up on she was my first and she looks like she's got a lot of potential, that's the kind of stuff that, we as guys like to do, where we like to complicate our lives and then justify why we do it, sort of thing.
Yeah, that all definitely makes a lot of sense.
There's another piece to this too. Like, I'm worried about this girl. She sounds like she's suffering a little bit and she's not dealing with it in a very useful way. And if I were you in your position, I would have a very simple rule. Like, you're in treatment and you're handling this problem, or, sorry, but I'll miss you, because I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody who's just stuck at age 18 because they picked up the pipe, and you can't force somebody to treatment, but you always give them options. And I'm with Rich. You're young. You don't need to pin your hopes on this one girl. But at the same time, like, you see somebody suffering out there, and at some point you got to put your foot down and say, look, you can't be in my life if you're not going to address this problem, because you're suffering and you're not growing and you're not what you could be.
What is the line from The Rational Male that I've repeated 100 times over now? Make sure she's a complement to your life and not the focus of it. And it really doesn't sound like she's complimenting your life, like she's bringing much to the table to help, big you up and kind of move you along, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, Alex. Talk to you later, okay? We got another caller on. Before we go to 514, any final thoughts on that one, Sean?
No, it's just, the pot. It's every bit, you're using it every day. It's like using alcohol every day. Alcohol once in a while is cool. Helps you out in social situations sometimes. But, and particularly if she's got some kind of anxiety going from whatever happened to her with the bad breakup or whatever, using pot for anxiety is a lot like using alcohol for depression. It might work tonight, but the accumulation of it over time is just going to make things worse.
Yeah, it sounds like she's got some baggage she's hauling around with stuff with her parents when she was growing up too. I mean, if she didn't even have a good relationship at 20 with either one of them, it sounds like we got something going on there. She's just numbing herself, right?
Yeah, so I hope that she can get herself into treatment.
All right, let's see what's up with 514. All right, 514, how you doing?
Oh, good.
Good. What's your first name?
Jean Simon.
Jean. Okay.
Yeah, just John Simon's good too.
John Simon. Jean Simon. Okay.
Yeah.
Not making fun of the name. I'm just trying to pronounce it in a very Anglophone sort of way. So before the train wreck,
it's fine.
What are you dealing with, buddy? What are you stuck on?
Well, currently I've been watching your stuff for at least like 5 months.
Yeah.
And right now I'm more like in trying to bring my friend to the red pill too. And I've got to start to do like a little playlist about your video. And I was thinking what you think about my selection to introduce the red pill to my friend.
So sorry, you have a playlist that you want to introduce to him?
Yeah. Well, like my friend are like I got one of my friends just got a kid, and another one just got the cheat and dump, and I want to introduce them to the red pill, like just to trying to help them more, because they're going to the train wreck pretty soon.
Okay. Well, usually guys that go looking for the red pill do it as a result of trauma, right? Like there's something that's significant that happens in their life and they go looking for answers, or they'll ask for it. So, I've said this before, that when the student's ready, the teacher's going to appear. You might present them with something, or give them a playlist or a video to watch or a book to read. And they may not be ready for it just because they're not ready to be taught this new lesson. They may not be open to it.
Yeah.
Do you want to hop in there, Sean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you can give people the information, but you can't make them consume it. And one way to put information in front of people is to tell your story. Because if you hit them with a bunch of statistics and you hit them with the rational male, the rational male, if you're not ready for that message, is going to be off-putting, because it's going to challenge your beliefs or challenge their beliefs. So if you hit them directly with that, that can really put their defenses up. But you tell your story about how, you had your bad relationship and you overcame it and you found this book that was really cool or whatever. That story, even if they're not ready for the message, that story will sit in the back of their head and it'll marinate. And when they are ready for it, it'll appear to them.
Yeah.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, sure. Because I've been trying for a little while and it didn't really work that well. So maybe that with that angle, maybe I'm gonna help them more.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you share some pain that they share, she crushed my heart in little pieces. Hey, Jean Christian, there was a time when I had my heart crushed in a zillion little pieces, and here's how I dealt with it. And you can kind of drop some red pill truths in there and see how responsive they are to it. Usually you'll notice it because they'll start doing things like, oh, I get it now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ciao. All right. Bring in your friends to the red pill. We have to hit on that like every couple shows.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's like, it's like, if you're very aware of pancreatic cancer, well, nobody wants to hear about pancreatic cancer, but I guess people should know about it. And if you're the one that's running around talking about it all the time, you're probably not going to win a lot of converts. So you got to find ways like you're talking about, drop some little truths here and there, see if you get a nibble, tell your story, and take the soft approach with this. That's my estimation anyway. I don't know what other guys say.
Yeah, we got another Quebec caller on the line, 514. Here we go. All right, you're on. What's your first name?
Shy.
Shy, as in Simon?
No, shy as in timid, shy.
Okay. So you're seeing red flags?
Yeah.
You got the spidey senses tingling? Is that my chat?
That's exactly it.
All right.
So I'm 22. I've been in a relationship with this girl for about 5 years. It's been on and off. And she's 3 years younger than me. So she's actually 20 now. Her birthday just passed not too long ago. And oh man, there's a lot to go through. So we split up once after about 1 year and 2 months of being together. And that was based on differences. She wasn't liking my friends. She was the jealous type. And that was hard. That was the longest relationship I've had at that time. So then actually I stumbled onto your page, your channel, actually read the Rational Mail. And then from then on, life was cruising, amazing, actually. Accomplished so many goals and it was a really good. And then lo and behold, she kind of steps back into my life about 9 months later. And since then, we're together again. I kind of went back and told myself, well, maybe, things have changed and kind of been different. And I don't know. And now it's getting to a point where I can't deal with it. Like, she's kind of a high drama, but she's very good to me in the sense that she's supportive. She helps out a lot and encourages me, helps me to
Okay, let's do this.
Challenges.
Okay, let's do this. So what are the red flags? What are the warning signs that you're seeing?
Okay. Right now it's basically, I feel like I don't have enough space. Like, she's very, how do I say? She likes, I don't know. She doesn't give me enough space. So there's that. There's the fact that there's a lot of arguments. Like, I don't think we go one day without her complaining about some shit that's going on. So
what kind of space do you mean? Like
complaining constantly?
Like she's smothering you all the time? Like, what are you talking about here? Like she constantly needs to be around you? Like she's like a leech, like glued to you?
She not really a leash. Like she wants her attention. I work in the day and I don't go out of my way to text her while I'm working because I don't want to have my phone on me at work, which is understandable. But I get texts once in a while, and if I don't answer, and then she kind of gets pissed. She's like, "Oh, why are you avoiding me, ignoring my calls and my texts?" And she knows I'm at work, but she still does that type of thing.
How old is she? You said she's 20?
20, yeah.
I remember this shit. Sean, you want to ask some questions? Sean?
Sorry?
Oh, hang on. You're still muted. You're still muted.
I dropped off for about a minute there. I lost you guys. I don't know what happened for the last minute.
Okay.
But
Well,
the last thing I heard was there's a lot of red flags, and she's jealous. And one of the first things I heard was she didn't like his friends, which is that one always gets my spidey senses tingling.
yeah,
So what'd I miss?
alienate you from your friends is always a bad sign. But he's got the situation where, you know, she's in constant need of his attention. So she'll text him throughout the day, and if he doesn't respond, she has a hissy fit over it. It's an argument and a fight.
Right. So what? I'll ask you the same question I asked the previous guy. What do you want out of this relationship?
Well, honestly, I saw her as a long-term relationship, like practically spending my life with her. I know I had a business earlier last year, actually 2 years ago, and she helped me get through a lot of it. And she was the only one that stuck around. The friends that she was complaining about, she was kind of right in a sense, but at the time I couldn't see it. And, you know, I guess I was kind of blind to it, but they're no longer in my life, those people. And now I just moved out in September to get a little bit closer to her.
Wait, hang on. Let me interrupt here. Why are these guys not in your life anymore? Did you make the decision, or did she make the decision?
No, I made it. Yeah, I asked them for help. I asked them for support, like to come check out one of my seminars, and they straight up told me they're not interested. And I said, what if it's for me? And they said, no, I still don't want to come. So basically, you know, they're not about my growth and, you know, helping each other in that sense. So I kind of cut them off. And, you know, in hindsight, she's right about them at the beginning, but I feel like at the beginning her reasons weren't, you know, valid. But it turned out that, you know, there's some kind of truth in what she had said about them. So it's I think, yeah, it's like a long-term thing, but at the same time, right now I'm actually driving Uber, meeting a lot of potential you know, like one-nighters or something like that. And it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's the mystery of what could possibly happen, but the fact that I want to stay loyal to her in the meantime. Yeah, exactly. I don't make any moves. I don't want to do that and, you know, be unfaithful in that sense.
I'm a little bit confused now because we were talking about a super jealous girl, and then we talked about you driving Uber and wanted to sleep with your rides.
Yeah, yeah, that's in the. It's the same thing. So it's like she's worried, but I wouldn't do anything in that sense. But she's worried of like the fact that there's female passengers obviously and Uber and stuff like that. Nah, my chair just broke. My fault. So yeah, and basically I don't know. I don't know what to think about this, and it's like she kind of every morning there's always something to nag about. Every morning there's something to nag about. Every morning it's like we can't have a happy morning. I drive her to school in the morning and it's like a silent ride and nothing's being said. And it's like we come home at night at the end of the day, have sex, to go to sleep, and that's the end of it. It's like it feels dead.
So she's an unhappy person. Somebody said in the comments, Conk says helicopter girlfriend probably raised by a helicopter mom.
Yeah,
does that
a scary thought
resonate?
actually? Yeah.
What's your mom like? You ever met her?
No, that's another thing. So I'm a Black African American. She's Russian, so their family, I've been in the picture 5 years and haven't met them at all, just because of prejudice and stuff like that, tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Where do you guys live? Like in what part of the world?
Originally from Montreal, but now we're both in Ontario.
Okay. So I don't know, Sean. There's more red flags here than I can start counting. I should have started to make some notes. What do you got?
Well, there's a couple different questions here. Question number one, a couple different directions we could go, what I should say. So question number one is, why haven't you broken up with her yet? But then question number 2 is, all right, if you want to stay with her, which is cool, how are we going to shape your behavior so that you're not being dogged by her behavior all the time? I'm saying where she wakes up miserable every morning, that doesn't sound any fun to you, and she's jealous, and she's got all this stuff going on. So if you're hell bent on staying with her, then all right, let's talk about how we shape you.
Right. So what I have tried to break up with her. Actually, here's another thing. She said.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, back up. You said you tried to break up with her. What does that mean?
Yeah. So this is something that we've said, like, oh, it's over, it's done, and the next thing you know, like the next day we're texting and talking again.
Why do you choose to do that?
In September, so I moved in Ontario in September, and ever since then, there's always she always brings up the fact that, oh, I could never live with you. I can't, because of the way we live in the apartment that I'm in now. But I take care of myself. Things are organized and everything, but there's always something to bring up. Anyways, she said that plenty of times, and I hang on to those things, and sometimes it's like, oh, you're dumb for doing this. You're not thinking. You're not paying attention, and criticizing me in every which way. And when I try to correct it, she says I go to one extreme to another.
How do you try to connect it?
To me, it's like, sorry?
How do you try to correct it?
So when we talk, I try to listen. I listen to her. I try to pinpoint what's the problem. And once I find that, I make sure that I either avoid doing something like that in the future, or just go at a different approach to fix it.
You're
and
totally
times where I've
operating in
done
a
that,
frame.
where it's literally white on black, or vice versa, black on white, there's still something to complain about. And I really corrected it, and then I'm being told that I'm an extremist, like I switch one end to the other to, I don't know, fix it. But
hey, just
I don't know. She's like, you have to understand the situation, the scenario. That's what she says. You have to understand the
just
scenario,
a question
the
for you.
in which
Just a question for you, because I just want to get some clarity on something. You said she's Russian. Was she born in Russia and moved here, or was she born and raised here?
Yes. Yeah.
She was born in Russia?
Born in Russia. She moved here when she was around 8 or 10.
Okay. I can tell you from my own personal experience, and a lot of guys that I know, that they avoid Russian and Eastern European women for the very reason that they're incredibly controlling, demanding, and you can never really ever make them happy. I had a friend that was going through marriage counseling, and his wife was Eastern European, kind of like that, and he had a one-on-one session with the counselor, and the counselor said, they're very sad people. And, my friend says, well, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, because his counselor is Jewish. He goes, well, I'm Jewish, and Jewish people are cheap. So it's, it's just a common sort of thing that, we talk about. But it's like, the people from that part of the world, they're generally very sad. They tend to complain a lot about their circumstances, and nothing ever seems to make them happy. So I'm not sure if that's something that you can comment on, Sean, but I've observed it myself with my own personal experiences and with a lot of guys that I've talked to, that it's almost like par for the course with those type of women. They bring, extreme beauty and femininity, which is often absent from, from our Western world. And they also bring some other baggage too, though, with it.
Yeah, Rich, I lost you again. I'll ask both of you guys for about 45 seconds. I don't know what's going on here. I might restart my browser here in a minute. But so, Rich, I'll let you talk about that part, because I think I missed some important pieces there. But Shai, I've already lost interest in your girlfriend, and I'm interested in you. I'm hearing a couple of things coming from you. One is that it seems like things happen to you. Like you talked about how you tried to break up, but then the next day you sort of found yourself back together again. And it didn't seem like that was a conscious decision. And I know I'm reading a lot into what you told me, but it seems like it happened to you rather than you deciding to do it. And the other thing that really concerns me about this is I hear you shutting down your behavior in the service of keeping her happy. Way back in the 50s and the 60s, behaviorists used to do these terrible experiments on dogs where they'd shock them and see how they responded to stuff. And one of the horrible experiments was that they would put a dog on an electrified floor, and they'd have another dog next door on another electrified floor. And every just once in a while, at random intervals, they would shock these dogs' feet. And one of the dogs, the control dog, had a little platform that he could jump up on to escape the shock. And the other dog did not. He just had to take it. And so what happened to this dog that just had to take it is that he ended up with the dog version of depression, which is his behavior was closing down and he stopped doing the things that healthy dogs do. And he basically became a puddle that sat in the corner. It was learned helplessness. It was one of the first big experiments on learned helplessness. And this is where I think you're headed if you keep going down this path of you ask her what's wrong and she tells you, well, I don't like that you did X, Y, and Z. So then you stop doing X, Y, and Z. Well, let's fast forward 20 years to where you're 43 and you're still with this woman. How many behaviors are you going to have left? You're going to be a puddle in the corner, buddy.
You've also got some fairly significant limitations with this relationship that we haven't even hit on yet, where she comes from a white family that doesn't want a black dude around their daughter. I mean,
that too, yeah.
You know, like what kind of long-term, relationship are you going to have with a chick and her family like that?
Yeah, I know. It's, I think it's a sense of attachment that we have. I was her first. She wasn't mine, but I was her first. And I don't know. It's hard to make that call and let it go. And
why is it hard? Why is it hard?
At the same time, I know I should, but like it's a
why is it hard?
Make tough decision.
Why is it hard? What's so hard about it?
Emotions, man. It's like I don't know. They get in the way, and it's like I know it's what's probably best for me, but at the same time, it's I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to, I don't know. I think I might pity her or something and go back. I don't know.
One of the core tenets of I think it's Buddhism is that you just accept things, for the way that they are. And if you can do that, then you can have a lot more control over your emotions and your cravings and your inability to let things go, right? Like you're really stuck on this chick like she's something special. And she doesn't sound that special to me. I mean, you guys drive along and there's no conversation. It's silent treatment. She's manufacturing indignation every day. She's finding things to fight about with you. I mean, what's good about it? Like, is she amazing in the bed, or like, what's the story here? Like, why is she so impossible to leave?
That's one part. Yeah. The sex life is great, but like I said, when I had a business, things were going bad, and she was the one to help me actually get out of it and then turn it, upside down. Had an amazing summer. She's the only one that was really there for me, that sticked around, that saw me struggle and saw me succeed in the end. And yeah, she was literally the only one that was really around. All the people that I thought were real in my life, all the friends I thought I had, completely
She doesn't sound like much of a cheerleader right now, though.
Sorry?
She doesn't sound like much of a cheerleader right now, though.
Yeah, right now, it's a different story, yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Can you relate with this idea, notion, comment? Does it feel like with this chick, like, have you ever been in a tropical storm or like even something close to a hurricane?
Real one?
Yeah, like a very windy day.
Yeah, I guess the storms in Canada are enough.
Okay. Well, have you ever tried walking into really high winds, like 80, 90 kilometer an hour winds when they're pushing into you? You know what that's like, right? You're exerting a lot of energy and you're barely moving forward.
Yeah, I think so. My life has been kind of stale for a little while.
Is that what it's like with Miss Russia?
Yeah, I think so.
Sean?
Well, Shai, you seem like a very accommodating guy, and I think that's going to be your downfall in this kind of relationship. You seem to be drawn toward women who will, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much of this, but maybe you're drawn toward women who will step in and fill the void when and give you some direction. Because you're an accommodating guy, you probably look for people who are willing to direct you. And the problem with that is that as this goes on, you're going to try to become more accommodating, and she's going to, in response, try to become more directive. And neither one of you is going to be happy. You're going to be miserable with each other. So I guess option A is you ditch her and you try to find somebody who's not so directive. Option B is you get yourself together, and meaning I don't mean that in an insulting way. I mean that you try to figure out what it is about making her uncomfortable that's so uncomfortable to you. If you're going to be in a relationship with her, this is a woman you're going to have to let her be uncomfortable once in a while. And I don't think that sits well with you.
Right. It's because I think I've felt it for such a long time, I think. And like I said, like I felt like it was conditioning at a certain point. The number of times I've been called dumb, or that I did something, not even, to me, it's just a different way of thinking. I have a different logic or a different perspective of looking at things. I'm very open-minded and forgiving of people. I won't judge someone at the first glance. And, you know, she's not that way. She has a very blunt, straightforward opinion. So if I go off a different route from her or a different opinion from her, it's like, you're supposed to be on my side type of thing, and you know, you're dumb or something like that, repeatedly. And
hang on a second. She wants you on her side in her frame. Are you listening to what she's saying?
Sorry?
Are you listening to what she's saying? She wants you on her side, operating in her frame. She just, you know, she stated that loud and clear. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I mean, you got yourself like set up to be her bitch. I mean, you know, she's already turning you into a plow horse. You're not even married to her. You're still a young man. I mean, you got a whole life ahead of you, and you're making this relationship your priority. I mean, it's a focus of your entire day in your life. She's not a compliment to your life, dude. Like, she's the focus of it. You know, she's trying to manufacture a relationship where you're operating entirely in her frame and serving her, and she's just going to beta-tize you and turn you into this like wimpy little plow horse that she's not even going to be attracted to. And you're setting yourself up for a long-term relationship with a chick that doesn't even value you as a man. I mean, you know, you're a black dude, so her family's not even into that. So what are you doing in this, you know, scenario on a long-term basis? Like it doesn't look like it's going to end well at all. Like this to me sounds like a train wreck waiting to happen.
Right.
So again, like, you know, you got to ask yourself, why are you making this a priority at 20 years old?
Sense on both what I would have to do and, you know, either just ditch her, but I know that I have improvements to make, and I've lived it the first time we split, actually.
Well, you're not going to make any improvements with an anchor in your life every day. You actually live with her too, right?
Sorry?
You actually live with this girl too?
Well, not necessarily. We not live together. No, I have my own place, but we practically spend every night together. Let's put it that way.
So you live together?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you're breaking all the cardinal rules, right? You don't get in a long-term relationship in your 20s. You don't live with a girl that you're not planning on marrying within 6 months. I mean, you know, you're playing house here with this woman that's inherently unhappy. And I've been in a relationship with a woman that's inherently an unhappy person. And I came to realize at some point that I'm going to spend my entire life trying to make an inherently unhappy person happy. And boy, is that exhausting. That is really tiring. It's just as tiring as the jealous chicks.
It's a bottomless pit. I've made the same mistake. You cannot make somebody happy. They choose it on their own. And, you know, Shai, I guess if you're looking for a way to think about this, like you seem to be struggling, do I break up with her or not break up with her? One way to think about this is you back off and you stop playing house, because if that escalates, you could find yourself in a situation where you're really screwed and you can't get away from her. So you stop playing the house, you start working on yourself and creating some leadership, and you set, you know, to use Rolo's term, you set the frame in the relationship, you put her in your frame rather than the other way. That's going to be very difficult for you because you're an accommodating guy, and that's not going to be very comfortable. But if you're not ready to break up with her yet, you can at least experiment with, all right, I'm changing the way I'm going to be in this relationship. I'm changing it dramatically. And it may turn out that, hey, she grooves on that and she's into it and she's much more comfortable. It may turn out that she rejects you because of it. But, you know, this limbo that you're in and the playing house, man, you're headed down a bad path.
It's like this chick is a siren, eh? You know, did you ever read Robert Greene's The Art of Seduction? I think it was called.
I did not.
Yeah, there's
No, but I've heard of it.
yeah, there's these personality types, and this chick's like a siren for you, dude. Like, you know, she's like this like magical, mythical unicorn. She's like the one for you that, you know, backed you up and all your friends wouldn't support you, but you're like constantly dealing with the toxicity of the scenario that you've created on a daily basis. I mean, there's so many red flags here, dude. So many red flags. And at your age, I don't know why you're putting up with them. I mean, if I could go back in a time machine and talk to myself doing the exact same thing, I would bitch slap the shit out of myself doing what you're doing right now.
All right.
I'm just saying, dude.
Well,
like, you know, like,
I think
give it some thought. Give it some thought, because you got a long life ahead of you, and you're burning through time right now with something that is really not serving you that much. I mean, like, you're making up a lot of reasons why you think it serves you, but I think you know that it really truly is not for you.
Right. Yeah. All right.
All right,
I'll
man.
give it some thought. Thanks a lot, guys. I
All right,
appreciate
Si.
it.
See you later. Ciao. Man, guys do this. That's like a couple calls back to back now, eh?
Yeah, this is an interesting question that's occurring to me right now. It's like these young guys are calling in and they're long-term relationship minded, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So how do you make the distinction between here's the question, Mike. How do you make the distinction between it's time to go versus you practice fixing the relationship? You practice being the guy you want to be and the guy you need to be in the relationship.
Yeah.
And maybe Shai's got an opportunity here where he takes on the challenge and he says, all right, I'm going to try this out, even knowing that it might fail, but I'm going to set the frame. I'm going to do the very difficult thing. I'm going to be the leader in this relationship. And of course, she's going to kick back at that at first, but maybe she likes it. So I guess my question is, like, I don't know. If you're long-term relationship minded, I guess I would err on the side of give it a shot, change yourself, try to fix a relationship, but don't, you're 23. Don't bet your life on this.
Man, like, I've seen this movie before and I know how it ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've been in the film at least a couple times, and it never ends well. Like, it just ends in such a colossal train wreck, and you burn through so much of your time. It's just so exhausting.
Yeah. And I'm not advocating that he waste his time. I'm advocating that he use his time wisely and develop himself and see how she responds. And even if it falls apart, which it will probably, now he's got some skills. Now he's sat with that discomfort being an accommodating guy. He's sat with the discomfort of being unaccommodating, and it's that much easier next time.
I would imagine he's still watching. So if I could say one last thing, spend more time at your house and less time at her house, and see how she responds to that behavior. Spend more time working on your own purpose, your own mission, and see how she responds to that. That would be an interesting test there, just for you to experience for yourself. Before we go to the next caller, I want to shout out to the Tactical Soap Company. My boy Scott Carr, Pheromone Infused Soap. You know what Gillette does and expresses about masculinity and men. This is a guy that actually supports masculinity. If you like my stuff, you like my channel, you guys are showering anyway, there's a pinned comment for 10% off if you check out with coupon code Cooper with the stuff. It's awesome. Let's go to the next caller and see what's up here. We got it's a block number. Okay. Block number, what's your first name?
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, what's your first name?
My name is Shabazz. Yeah, I'm calling from the UK. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. And what are you stuck on? What are the red flags?
Sorry?
What is it that you're stuck on? The spidey senses are tingling. There's some red flags that you wanted to express? Okay, that call's not going to work. We're going to drop it. Let's go to this one over here. We got 702. All right, 702. What is your first name?
Hey. All right, so I can barely hear you. You're breaking up. But my red flags is basically a woman doesn't want me to have like control of like our relationship. But it's weird. So can I like not be in a relationship for what it's called? Do I have to be in a relationship?
So sorry, she wants to be in control of the relationship. In what sense? Like, in what aspect?
All right, so here's the thing. I'm not in a relationship. I have plenty of like women that I talk to, and I'm older. I'm 33. I'm listening to like the older guys that are like 20, and I'm like, bro, you're 20. Like, play the field. Like, get a girlfriend, or if you do have a girlfriend, like, why not have girls on the side? But anyways, I'm 33 and I'm still playing the field. Nah, but I live in Vegas, so for me, like, I meet girls all around the world, and you know, I have this one chick that I'm talking to, and the main thing is all right, so we're not really we're in a relationship. We're in a friendship. We're friends, right? But she's
So you're friends with benefits.
Girlfriend. Friends with benefits.
Okay.
Right? But here's the thing. She has this thing where she's like, is a lot. She's a bit psycho, and I know this. You know what I mean? She has like daddy issues. She's Australian, but I love Australian women. But it's a thing where like, I had her here in town with me. She came all the way from Australia to come to Vegas to spend New Year's with me, right? And basically the whole time she had me sort of like, you know, like while we're in the club, she has me like holding her purse. She's dancing with like other guys, right? Trying to make me jealous and all this shit like this. Oh, can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the red flags exactly? Because I'm not sure that I'm following you here. Like, you've got this friends with benefits that wants you to hold her purse while she goes to the nightclub and dances with other dudes. Like, that's a red flag for sure. But
yeah, she's trying to treat me. Yeah, that's a red flag, right? So
for sure,
she doesn't want me. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm getting to it, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't want me to sort of like be the in control guy. The in control guy. She doesn't want me to be the in control guy. So like, she's not a relationship, like, you know, hardcore girlfriend, but how do you sort of deal with a woman, and sort of like the guy who was on before me, the black guy in Canada or whatever, he kind of touched on it where he was like, his girlfriend like says these different things about what he should do, and then he's like trying to fix it. It's like, you know, it's little things like that.
How old is she?
And she doesn't want me to sort of like, go ahead.
How old is she?
She's 28.
And sorry, you said you're 35, right?
33.
Yeah. And what is she doing in Vegas? Like, is she working? Is she on vacation? Like, what's her role there?
She's just here to kick it with me. I met her in Vegas.
Okay, so you met her in Vegas and she decided to stay? Like, she was just visiting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is one other thing. I'm sorry, but this is my first time like on a live call, so I kind of rushed into it. I didn't know I was next. But this is one other thing that I wanted to like say too. My last relationship was when I was back living in the South. So let's just say Norfolk, Virginia, so to speak, right? So my last girlfriend, she was a Greek girl, and I'm black, and her dad doesn't like African American men. But, you know, I come from a place where it's like really urban, you know, so it's just like that one set of type, you know, one type of girl to talk to, like that urban chick. We don't have like a lot of girls from all around the world, right? In Virginia, where I'm from. So to touch on that last conversation, you know, her dad, I'm black, her dad didn't like me, it wouldn't work, so I scrammed. But I still have a relationship with this girl where like we're friends, you know, so I can still learn from her. She taught me a lot about myself, about my culture. She taught me a lot about her culture, right? So anywho, since then, since that last girlfriend, I haven't had a girlfriend since then. I've just been playing the field, right? So I'm getting back into conditioning myself for a relationship. And this
conditioning yourself for a relationship.
Is a girl that I'm sort of like, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with this scenario is you got a girl that thinks you're her assistant. She doesn't value you, dude. Like, she's not looking at you like the alpha masculine Chad. She's like, here, hold my purse while I dance with other men. Like that's cuckoldry. You know what I mean? Like, you know, this is the kind of scenario where she'll be like, well, I'm going out with my boyfriend tonight, so I'll see you tomorrow morning, okay?
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The whole time she was here, so she's sleeping in my bed, right? and she's here with me at my house, sleeping in my bed, right? But every night, it's kind of like a mind trick type of thing. Every night she ends up back at my place, but she tries me. You know, she's like trying me. She's like for example, we went out. Her birthday was on January the 4th. I took her out for her birthday. So I decided I haven't had a girlfriend in a long time. I said, you know what? I'm going to do something nice for a young lady because that's just how I was raised. I was raised just to do nice things, you know, be a man, be a gentleman, be a man, treat a woman nice, make her smile. So I bought her some flowers, a balloon. It said, you know, happy birthday, stay awesome, whatever, right? And it seemed like because I was doing all of these nice things for her and making plans for her birthday, she turned on me. Like she got angry at me for doing nice things for her. And it was like I was in control of the day. So I was like, hey, you know, we're going to do this for you. You know, we're going to do this for your birthday, this activity, right?
What do you make all
and
this,
I was
Sean?
just like, you know, she had.
I'm lost, man. I'm not sure. I didn't get your name, caller. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure what you're asking for here. I'm hearing all kinds of messages.
Yeah, it sounds kind of scattered.
No, it is scattered.
Well,
so
okay,
so, like,
so yeah, but I'm dealing with a woman who doesn't want me in control, right? Like as a man that she's like sort of quote unquote, I guess courting. I guess
okay, but do you want me to like open my drawer over here and bring out my magic wand and wave it so that you can all of a sudden be in control? Like, I'm not sure what it is that we're looking to do here, right?
No, how do you deal with a woman like that? How do you deal with girls?
Well, you have to reassert yourself as
you
have to reassert yourself as the one being in masculine frame and in control. You know, in any relationship, one person enters the other person's frame. It's just the way that it is, and you're operating in her frame. So, I mean, if you want her to operate in your frame, you need to exert that and, you know, stand up for yourself and make sure that's the way that it goes. So the next time she tries to hand you her purse while she goes off dancing with other guys, you say, no, you hold the purse. You're not dancing with anybody. You're here with me tonight.
Right. You're absolutely right. And I'm following your material. And that's what I said to myself. I put my foot down. I'm like, yo, you know what? This is wrong. Whatever, I'm out. I'll leave you in the club. Right. But I took that as like me sort of getting in my feelings. Right. But when I talked to my older cousin, he was like, yo, whoa. This stuff that you're listening to, this stuff that you're following, like, take a step back and chill. Like, you don't have to get in your feelings and run off or like burn a bridge. Like burn a bridge for what, you know? So it's just like, I'm just sort of trying to find a balance between like the material, like your material.
Okay, but hear what you're saying. Hold on a second. So you're saying that you want to be in control of the frame and you want her to operate within your frame. But then when you're told how to get that done, you manufacture a reason as to why you can't get it done.
I follow you. And I didn't mean to make it seem like that though. But
well, listen, like all I do is I just hold up a mirror and I just point to the facts, right? Like the facts don't lie.
Right.
Sean?
Right.
Yeah, I'm still kind of lost. I mean, either you're like, if you want to be dominant in the relationship, either you're dominant and she's okay with it, or you're dominant and she's not, in which case you two have a values difference. Okay. Right.
It was like almost like the last call. It was the same sort of situation where it like there was no sort of like we're using all this material, right? But we're sort of like not running away from the women. But
you got to start applying it, right? I mean, it's good to know something, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't apply it to your life. Have you read Dr. Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy?
No, I haven't, but I'm gonna write that down.
Dr. Robert Glover, No More Mr. Nice Guy. Great book. Start with that.
I will.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Cool.
All right. We got a couple more callers on. Any closing comments on that one, Tom?
He sounds like he's being kind of accommodating, like he's trying to assert himself, I think, but then not really following through. And dealing with people is a lot like dealing with dogs. Like, you got to be consistent. And if you, excuse me, if you create the condition, you have to be willing to see it all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we got a new member. Mindset. He says it's Sichi here from the previous call. Thanks for chiming in and becoming a member, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I like these last two callers. I mean, they seem like they're wrestling with some important questions. It seems like the question that they're both wrestling with is like, how can I assert myself in this relationship? Basically, I think that's a good question.
Well, I mean, the first guy that we talked to with a Russian girl, he just said in the comments that he was raised by a single mother too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's like, we talked about this before publicly on Twitter and on the Red Man group on Saturday. And it's like, there's all these like signs and signals from the toxic feminists saying that there's too much masculinity and you need to curb it. But that's not the problem. I mean, the problem is there's almost an absence of it. It's just, there's so many guys that are unwilling to say, you know what, this is your purse. I'm not your bitch. You hold your purse. And no, you can't dance with those guys over there. Right. Like it's really as simple as that. I mean, if you want to exert your masculine energy, exert it. I mean, it's okay to say those things. I mean, it's okay if you're going out with a chick to let her know that she's with you tonight and she's not with the other guys in a nightclub, and that you don't have to stand there like a bitch holding her purse, right? Like, that's very beta behavior. Like that to me shows a lack of masculinity. If you want to exert yourself as a masculine, strong man and have her operate in your frame, you got to put your foot down and start behaving like it, man.
Yeah, and I think what feminists hear when they hear what you just said is, oh, well, you're just trying to control the woman, you're just trying to control everything. But it really comes down to a normal woman feeling good when she hears that the man that she's with actually cares enough to fight for her attention, or to say
enter your frame. They want to operate in their frame. They want to be kept in check. They want to be told no. One of the first things that we talked about on a Red Man group a couple of weeks ago when we did the patriarchy one for fathers is you have to learn how to say no if you want to make yourself your own mental point of origin, right? Like, you have to learn to tell a chick, no, I'm not going to hold your purse.
Yeah.
You hold your own damn purse.
And I'm thinking about, like, if this came up with my wife and we were dancing somewhere and she said to me, will you hold my purse while I go dance with this clown? And if I were to say, oh, yes, dear, that's not going to feel good to her. It's going to feel terrible to her.
I'll tell you what, even in my most plugged in days, I mean, I was still always a blue-pilled alpha, but even in my most plugged in days, I would never stand there and hold a chick's purse while she went to dance with other dudes. Not fucking happening on my watch.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's out there with me, forget it, dude.
Yeah. Right. And her other option is to not be there with you. I mean, ultimately, that's what it comes down to. You give people options. You don't give people ultimatums. You say, hey, look, you're with me tonight. If that's not cool, then all right, we're done. Good luck.
Here's your purse. I'll see you later. I'm going to catch an Uber. Bye-bye.
Yeah. It's not about control. It's about choices.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to this call over here. We got 619 on. You're on the air. What is your first name?
Hey, this is Ken. Can you copy it? Okay.
We can hear you just fine, Ken. So red flags, you're trying to avoid a train wreck. What's happening, man?
Hey, thank you so much, guys. So I have dating a 31-year-old. She's 7 years older than me, so that makes me 24. So daddy issues. Didn't grow up with a dad. Even a grandpa wasn't even in the picture either. And what else? And again, she's 7 years older than me. But for the most part, she's the girl that I've been interested in most out of all the girls I've dated. And she's been asking me if if she wants me to like fully commit and like be exclusive. But again, all the red flags are there, but it's really hard to like stay away from her. And I don't know what exactly to do. She wants me to like move in with her, and she's covered in tattoos. I know that's attractive to most people, but I really don't mind it. Is that just like a complete like no, or?
Well,
it's just it's like so hard to like actually be interested in anybody else besides her, because I mean it's kind of one-sided, I guess, if you think about it. But.
Okay. So she's covered in tattoos. What are the other red flags?
No dad inside. Grew up with just a single mother. Stepdad abused her. What else is there? And she doesn't have a set career. Like, I'm 24. I make more money than her. And
what does she do?
She models it. she models on the side, and then she's a nanny. Like she's like one of those that has like 50,000 followers on Instagram. It's like,
oh, she's got a lot of beta orbiters, eh? We did
she
a
does. Like I tried to ignore it. Like I muted her stories and everything, so I don't like even look at that shit. And I don't even compliment her that much. But again, it's like, how do I sustain that? And I mean, I'm pretty confident myself. But
I can tell you 2 red flags right now that would be a big alert for me. Any chick that's covered in tattoos is basically saying, "Hey, look at me, guys." It's also self-mutilation
too. And I forgot what you said, but what is that? One more time.
Well, it's attention seeking, you know, it's, hey, look at me. And it's also self-mutilation too, right? I mean, you know, to me, that's a big red flag. I mean, a discreet tattoo, not so bad, but I mean, if she's covered in tattoos, and she's constantly seeking validation on social media with 50,000 Instagram followers, is she selling anything on Instagram, or is she just doing it for social attention?
Well, she gets like sponsored by like some car companies, or she was, and then some clothing. That's all. But again, they're like also half naked pictures too.
Okay, so she's posting half naked pictures on Instagram, but does she have a sponsor? Like, is she selling products or services?
Well, she finds these sponsors, drops them, and then it's like in and out. So it's not like she's like, for example, today she was shooting with like a bathing suit company.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are the other red flags?
The other red flags, sorry.
What are the other red flags aside from the tattoos and the attention-seeking behavior on Instagram?
Again, it just bothers me. Just like, I mean, she did a couple like Navy SEAL. I mean, this is what she told me. Like, she did a couple of Navy SEAL. I mean, I don't know if she's like, I don't know what she wants from me specifically, which is, I mean, I don't ask those questions, but it makes you think. Again, didn't grow up with dad, broken family, and then her dad or stepdad abused her, and that's just kind of like, I've been dating her for like 3 months now. It's been going great, and I'm just like waiting for it to like end. And
so
I'm expecting it, but it's been going great so far.
So she's 31. Has she been married before?
Yeah.
She's been married before.
31.
Okay. Does she have any kids?
For 2 years, she's no kids. She was married for 2 years when she was like 19 to 20, like to 21. I guess her ex, husband was like in the military and it was always gone. So that, I guess that went downhill. But I didn't ask questions or anything.
You must have some clarifying questions, Sean.
Is she in therapy?
No, I mean, this is crazy. She's completely normal.
No, she's not.
Like, I can't like have conversations with like other girls besides her. Like I find myself really bored with other people.
Okay. Okay. Stop. 31-year-old women shouldn't be on Instagram showing their like skin with tattoos all over it like this, right? I mean, like she's got.
I know her mom is hot though.
She's not totally normal.
No, Ken, she's got this history. That's the first thing she started off with. She's got some stuff going on in her history with her family. Oh, yeah. And if she has not done therapy, then she's going to just repeat this cycle over and over again. Sounds like she's doing tattoo and Instagram therapy instead of trying to figure out how she can get her life moving in the right direction.
I mean, she's been mentioning that to me too. Like, she feels like she's kind of lost, but
well, I mean, you know, people that claim to be lost, they always try to find solutions in something. And it seems like tattooing the crap out of her body might be the way that she deals with it. Does she have like a ton of tattoos? Or are we talking like 1 or 2 here?
One more time.
Does she have a ton of tattoos? Or are we talking like 1 or 2 here?
No, she has like 2 gnarly thigh tattoos. Her arms are covered, even her fingers too. And her back too. She has those freaking angel wings too in her back. But she's
dude, like this chick's got more red flags than a Chinese Communist parade. That many tattoos with the angel wing flags and then the thigh tattoos. The way you're describing it, I can just picture this thing showing up on Instagram. I mean, I wish I had my DMs open on Twitter. I'd get you to send me the link for her Instagram.
You what?
Yeah, I don't know, Sean.
Ken, she's
in a relationship. I've been postponing that question too.
Yeah.
Good.
Post me on
Look,
her
Good.
Instagram.
Ken, listen, she's exciting, and that's really cool.
Exciting, yeah.
But she's those angel wings; those are ironic. If she's not in therapy and she's not dealing with the stuff that put her here, then she's going to be repeating the stuff. And I always say, like, I don't care about her history and what kind of problems she comes in with. What I care about is that she's working through it, and I'm not hearing that from you. So anybody who's not working through it, they're going to impose their problems on you.
And dude,
Yeah,
you know,
she's
when a
not bad
chick
at all with me, though.
tattoos
Like,
when a chick tattoos angel wings on her back, that, you know, like, why is she trying to pretend that she's an angel when she knows that she's not? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look at these signs and
Yeah.
signals and be attentive to them.
But what do I do if, like, I actually sense like genuine attraction and like desire? Like, I haven't had
Well,
that with other
Ken,
people.
Ken,
well, of
if she's
course.
not, Ken, if she's not dealing with the stuff that put her here, she's going to inflict her problems on you. It doesn't matter what you feel about her. She's going to give you her problems.
She sounds BPD, which is super attractive to dudes. Like these women are almost always sirens, dude. Like, they're like magnets, you know, they'll just suck you in. And
what?
well, they're like sirens, dude. They're like magnets. You know, they put a spell on you, and it's like, you know, you look at her and you go, well, she's got 50,000 orbiting betas around her, liking the crap out of her stuff and sliding into her
bothers me,
DM.
yeah.
Well, of course, you know, because she's got proof that there's other men that want her, right? And of course, it's going to bother you because she's putting herself out there. I mean, she's basically marketing herself to an audience of 50,000. So what you see with the likes and the comments is just like the tip of the iceberg. Like, there's like, she's got, it's like how George Bruno calls it a box of dicks. Women like this on their phone, they basically have what's called a box of dicks, and it fills up on a daily basis with thirsty orbiting betas that are dehydrated, seeking attention, and she's got it, and she likes it, right? I mean, like, there's so many red flags. There's so many red flags here. I mean, it's like Sean said, good. Don't get into a relationship. Take your time, right? Like, this chick needs, like, you need to put some space between you and the spellbinder.
So, Ken, let me ask you a question. I'm tired of talking about your girlfriend. Are you a thrill seeker?
She invites me
Ken.
over like mostly every night too, and I've been trying to like avoid it most of the time.
Ken, are you a thrill seeker?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm a frenetic.
Yeah, I am too. And that's going to be your downfall. You need to learn to rein that in. I had to learn how to rein that in because the thrill seeking will take you places that will ruin your life. It's great fun if you can manage it, but I don't know that you've learned how to manage it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's been keeping me up at night. So
a woman should never keep you up at night, dude. Like, mark these words.
Yeah.
Never let a woman keep you up at night. Okay. You know, women are often fleeting in our lives. They're not like Stonehenge. Like, you know, they get up and move. So losing sleep over a chick covered in tattoos with angel wings tattooed on her back and thigh tats with daddy issues with an absent father. I mean, you know, do you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got something that you got to work on yourself too, because you're obviously, you know, raised by a single mother with an absent father, and it almost seems like you found a relationship with somebody that kind of like mimics the mommy sort of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I wasn't. I was raised with my family's. My parents are still together.
Oh well, didn't you say that it was a single mom scenario, or was that her?
No, she was raised with. Yeah, she was.
Oh, that's her. Oh, okay.
And she had a stepfather that
My
abused
apologies.
her too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, Ken, I'm going to leave you with one last thought here. I like you because I sense that we're kind of kindred spirits here. Take up skydiving, because that's a great way to get that thrill seeking out. Your romantic life is not for thrill seeking, because that'll put you in family court eventually.
Yeah, you don't want to knock a chick up like that.
Yeah. I mean, I see her birth control and stuff like that too, but still, I think it's hard to pull out too.
Are you controlling the birth control?
Yeah. Are you in control of the birth?
No, as you know.
Well,
okay, yeah, spoken like a thrill seeker.
you need
like
a thrill seeker, exactly.
You need to develop a little bit of a conservative streak, Ken. From one thrill seeker to another.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Either start using condoms or start aiming for the angel wings on her back. All right.
Good. Well put. Thank you.
All right. Smart enough.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the night, guys.
Bye.
Good luck, Ken.
Oh man.
What is that, Rich? What is that you always say about guys?
Guys,
I'm
like
I'm not trying to
complicate their lives
disparage Ken. I like
by
it. They
finding
find
sex.
ways to mess up their lives and then justify it.
Men are masters. I think that human beings are masters of complicating their lives and then trying to justify why they do it in general. And
Yeah.
but I don't
And I can pick it up in Kid. I like the guy. I like the kid because I can sense that he's got that taste for excitement, and I really relate to that. But man, that's going to tear him up. And he's the guy that you're talking about. He's going to go. He's going to go out, mess up his life, and then have lots of reasons why he did it.
well, he'll be the guy in 4 years' time that books me for a coaching call about getting divorced, and his crazy bitch won't let him see his kids.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully we can help him out tonight.
Yeah, guys, make sure you're in control of the burst. Do not rely on her. Okay. Let's go to the next caller. What do we got here? We got about another 10 minutes. You want to go to for another 10?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do one more caller. Let's see what 631's saying. All right, 631, you're on. What's your first name?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
It's Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, what's up?
So I don't know if I exactly have any questions, but I like your approach and what you're saying and everything. But like, what avenue are you leading these guys down? Are you leading them to a more fulfilled life with like love or like relationships or just sex? Like, what is it that like?
Okay.
Like that guy on the call, like he sounded like he was looking for a relationship, like he was really into that girl. So same thing with this guy with the tattoo girl. I don't know why he would.
Okay, Jeremiah, the show's about before the train wreck. Is there something tingling with the spidey senses or a scenario that you want to vet, a red flag you want to go over?
I mean, I did just get out of a relationship. I broke up with this girl. She's of a different nationality, and I just didn't foresee it. She wanted to get married and everything. I don't know if I had any really questions about it. It was just a decision, a hard decision I had to make. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for taking my call.
Okay,
well, Rich, I'll answer the question. The question is what path are you leading these guys down? It's a fair question. The path that I'm always thinking of is what path are they on? What path are they trying to achieve? And if a young guy calls in and he's wanting long-term relationship in his life, that's something that he values, then my advice is always going to be, I'm always going to lead toward try to fix the relationship. Even if you can't do it, that's a skill that you're going to need down the road if you want to be in a long-term relationship. If you don't want to be in a long-term relationship, then all right, you don't need to work on that particular skill.
Yeah. Like this guy that just called. Next guy. I'm waiting.
All right, well, the line's breaking up, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for calling in. 479. Let's try this last one here. All right, first name 479. Hello?
Hello?
Yep, what's your first name?
Hey. Eric.
Eric, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you guys?
Good.
I'm 39, and I'm wondering, are all women between late 30s and 40s, are they all bipolar? Because that's been my experience and my friends as well.
Did you ever see that meme where it says something like "all women are bi"? It's just up to you to figure out if it's bisexual or bipolar. Okay. So what's going on that you think all the women are bipolar?
Well, every single one. I mean, the first couple of weeks, they're normal, and after a while, all the signs show up. And I used to live with a bipolar woman 10 years, so I know all the signs.
Mm-hmm.
And they admit that they've been to a therapist and they got some type of either bipolar or histrionic or something.
Okay. I've done a lot of dating in that age range, and I haven't met a lot of bipolars. I mean, there's a lot of baggage that comes along with women at that age, especially when they got kids from multiple fathers, but didn't meet a lot of bipolars. So I'm wondering why you're meeting so many bipolars.
The women I've been dating have been single because I don't want to date single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they're just damaged goods or something. I don't know.
Okay, so they don't have any kids, but you're finding that they're damaged psychologically.
It's happened to me and my friends, so I'm starting to wonder.
Well, I mean, there's a distinct possibility that the reason why they never got wifed up is because there's something wrong with them too, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Are there other red flags? Like do they have a collection of 6 cats and 72 tattoos, or short pink hair or purple hair, face piercings?
No. The last one was, a Christian woman. I mean, I'm an atheist, but I was thinking, okay, I'll try the good Christian woman with no tattoos and a good job, and she was the craziest one.
And what made her crazy? Like,
she had 5 personality disorders, turns out, and she would change personalities. Like one moment she's really nice and sweet, and let's say we have sex, and she goes to the bathroom, comes back, and she's someone else, screaming and yelling, and I'm like, whoa, who the hell are you?
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
10 minutes later, she's nice again.
Okay, so it sounds to me like you're pretty good at like vetting through the riffraff. I mean, it sounds to me like you're looking for some gold, and to find some gold, you're gonna have to dig through a little bit of dirt, right?
Yeah, I read Rollo's book, and I see red flags everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of paranoid now.
Are you overanalyzing? Like you getting this over analysis paralysis scenario?
Maybe, but I haven't been wrong. That's the thing.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I spent 10 years with a bipolar woman, so I've been through hell. I've learned a lot.
So, our friend Dr. Sean has oversensitive spidey senses that picks up on everything very quickly. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on is a lot of times when people come into my office and they find that they're attracted to the same people over and over again, it's because that's what they know how to do. And I'm not into these complicated explanations of, recreating trauma and all that stuff. I think that people choose the people they choose because they know how to operate in that relationship. And so what I'm wondering with you, Eric, is, all right, you spent 10 years with this bipolar woman, and I don't know what things were like before that with your parents or with other relationships, but I wonder if you're finding a lot of women who are mentally unhealthy just because that's what you know how to do. And if that's the case, then the task for you is to figure out a whole new skill set, figure out how to identify and relate to the ones who are healthy and functioning.
Okay. I gotta kind of change my tactic and take a deeper look at my reason to choose these individuals.
Yeah, and maybe even get a psychologist for a few sessions and just see if you can identify what the main questions and the main issues are so that you can start going after them. And the reason I say that is because, sorry, I knew you were about to answer, I interrupted you, but the reason I say that is because by definition, if you fall into this group of people who's choosing the same people over and over again because that's what you know how to do, then by definition, you have a blind spot and you need somebody else to help you find that blind spot. It's not something that is real easy to do on your own.
I'm a pretty nice person. I'm kind of, I give a lot. And I'm wondering if maybe I suck these type of people to me or something.
Yeah, it could be that you're the one that's nice enough to listen to them when they're being nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nice guy thing never really works for men. It doesn't serve them the way that they think that it serves them. Their ego investments in the whole nice guy approach are just horrible. I mean,
yeah.
That I mentioned earlier, like No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm all about that.
I mean,
I think it's one of the best books you've ever written.
In the long run, but I'm polite to people when I meet them.
Okay. You're talking about some kind of pattern that's showing up in your life over and over, and the common denominator is you. And I don't mean that in any kind of disparaging way. I'm just talking about like there's some kind of blind spot, there's some kind of skill set that is drawing the wrong kind of people towards you. And that's what it sounds like you need to identify.
Yeah, like you shouldn't be finding that every single woman you come across is bipolar. Like that sounds like very unusual to me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So I guess I'm doing something wrong.
But by the same token, there's a lot of women like when they get past their mid to late 30s, like you notice, they bring some form of baggage. And I mean, the stuff that I noticed was high consumption of like boxed wine, right? Like high alcohol consumption.
They seem to be angry.
Well, there's anger too, because they're probably pissed off with their lives for not accomplishing what they wanted, because they subscribe to the feminist notion of go get a career and, you know, you go girl, and, you know, some guy will come along and wife you up before your eggs dry up. And that never happens for them. So there's going to be a lot of bitterness out there too. How old did you say that you were again?
I even tried dating a feminist. Oh my God.
No, but how old are you?
I think he said 39.
39?
I'm 39, yeah.
Dude, you're dating women that are too old, then you should be dating women in their 20s. Like, you know, 28, 29 should be the cap for you. I mean, you're going to get that with like 30, like late 30s to 40s. I mean,
I don't think I have the SMV to do it, because a couple of years ago, I almost died. I was really sick. And I spent half a year in bed. I had a brain infection.
Okay.
And I lost my business while I was in bed. So I kind of have to start all over again. And that's, you know, lowered my SMV.
Okay. So, you know, so bring the number up, right? You know, work on building your wealth, you know, create your purpose, you know, work on the body, eat some good food, smash around some heavy weights. And, you know, before you know it, within a couple of years, you're going to be a sexy bitch again.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just started on TRT because my doctor said I was low.
Good.
And, you know, after being in bed for half a year, your body gets pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So work on that, and don't worry too much about, you know, women showing up in your life. I mean, probably part of the reason why you're attracting these lower quality women in your life is because you're not the best version of yourself right now. And if you need to move up, you know, 3 points on the SMV scale to feel like you're closer to your best, then I would use time and energy on that, not filtering through the riffraff.
So, sorry, I couldn't hear you. You broke up.
Work on you. You know, make yourself your own mental point of origin and get your SMV up, right? I mean, if you want to have access to better quality women, higher quality women, you're going to have to be a better version of what you are right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about too. I just, you know, fuck this. Let's just work on me, because I don't want to deal with no more crazy people.
Yeah, well, you know, who the hell wants to deal with somebody else's baggage? You know, I always say, don't make your problems my problem, right? So if you've got some work to do on yourself because you want to attract better quality females, then work on that. You know, take 6 months, go into monk mode. You know, visit MGTOW for a little bit. Stay away from from women for a little bit if you need to, but come out of that place when you're ready, once you feel like you've done the work on yourself and you're feeling like a stronger, better version of yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm really pleased with myself right now. I used to be a really low-trained guy. You know, I was one of the best guys in my platoon in the Army. I had a business, and now I'm basically nothing.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, and Rich, I'm with you. I think you got 2 jobs here. Identify your pattern. What is it? Why'd you even marry someone who had mental health problems in the first place? Identify your patterns. But yeah, get your number up, man. Just take a break from this whole game.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for your call, man.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Ciao. Bye. All right. Well, let's wrap it up on that note. That was an hour and a half, 90 minutes. It was a good
Goes
show.
quick.
Goes very quick. And, there's always good questions that come in. I mean, there's always good examples, and I can see in the comments that guys relate to a lot of this. They're getting some value out of it. It's interesting. It's an interesting exercise going through this before the train wreck stuff, isn't it?
It is. And I'm walking away with this question. I always walk away from these discussions with some kind of question in the back of my head. And my question tonight is, how do you balance trying to fix the relationship, fix yourself in the relationship versus moving on? And I'll be wrestling with that one till next week, I think.
Yeah. You've always got some good afterthoughts. I always get a good email from you after the show, but I think we're putting a dent in this, man. Like, we talked about this in Orlando about trying to get to guys before they screw up their lives. And it seems to be working. 5 episodes in, we get about 10,000 views an episode. That's about 50,000 views, so far. We're getting eyeballs on scenarios that matter. And guys are hopefully avoiding wifing up women with angel wing tattoos on their back didn't grow up around a father.
The angel, yeah, the angel wings. I feel bad for her. I mean, she's got something going on. There's this other little issue that popped up tonight. We had these two black guys that called in, and their girls' families did not like. I mean, they were racist against them essentially. And so, question being, how much of that nonsense do you tolerate? Like, you're dating somebody and their family has no use for you because of your skin color or whatever it is. I'm of the mind that, you know, because I'm a long-term relationship kind of guy, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life dealing with that. I dated a girl for a while. Her family was just rabid feminists, I mean, just insane feminists. And once I started to get a glimpse of what her family was like, even though I really liked this girl, there's no way in hell I was going to bring all of that in tow and bring that into my life. I don't have time for that kind of battle.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world. About half of them are women. I mean, like, even if you can only get like 1% of them to be attracted to you, I mean, you're still talking like multiples of several million women that could possibly be a good fit. Why would you settle for a feminist, or why would you settle for potential in-laws that don't even like you?
Yes, and this girl was not a feminist. Like, she appreciated men, but it was that family that she was bringing in tow. And these girls, the guys called in about, they may not be racist, but they're bringing this racist family in tow. And that to me is, I don't know how much time you want to spend with that in your life.
Well, I think that the Russian chick with that first dude, although you might say that she's not racist, I mean, if she's belittling him and treating him like her plow horse / pet, I suspect that you can't unprogram your family's belief system as quickly as you think. And like, I mean, guys just love to complicate the crap out of their lives and try to make difficult scenarios work. She's got 70 tattoos and 50,000 thirsty betas on Instagram, but I'm going to try to make a good wife out of her because I can make a housewife out of a hoe all day long. Like,
right.
7 years older, you know what I mean? And, you know, prior marriage, I mean, raised by a single mom, there's so many red flags there. And it's like, guys can just avoid all of these scenarios if they just choose. You know what it is? I think that Rolo's got it right. Make yourself your own mental point of origin, right? And things should be a compliment to your life. If you got a girl that's a compliment to your life, that's good. If you got a girl whose family doesn't like you for whatever reason or doesn't share similar values, then why would you waste your time? Just plate them. Just plate them. Just date, plate, but that's it. Don't get into an LTR. That's it. Have some fun. You like high risk scenarios, have some fun, but make sure you're in control of the birth.
Absolutely. And this last guy that called in, Eric, you know, life knocked him down a couple of pegs, and you could hear it in his voice. He'd been roughed up a little bit. And I think your advice to him was really good. Like, get yourself back to the center of your own mental, but how would I say this? Put yourself back in the center of your own mental point of origin, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever see those big grizzly bears, you know, the old ones in the river when the salmon are swimming upstream, it's always the young, healthy ones that are running into the middle and smacking the shit out of them and just putting them all on the, you know, the banks of the river, and they just gobble them up. And there's always some old, like, gnarly bear that's been screwed up because he's all messed up and he can barely move, and he just kind of grabs like the dying fish out of the side of the river. That's what that guy's basically doing, right? Like, he's just taking the leftovers because he's not the best version of himself. And he already knows that, right? So it's like you kind of already have the answer when you say, well, my SMV is too low to date somebody that's 28. Okay, well, if you want to avoid the problems that you're dealing with in the 40s, I mean, women that are 10 years older than him, then go and date women that are younger. Oh, well, I can't do that because I'm not the best version of myself. Okay, well, then work on that. And then that'll solve the problem that you're dealing with because you're dealing with the leftover fish.
Right. And by the way, that SMV isn't just about physicality. It's also about how he presents himself. Is he a guy that's got connections? Has he got a good sense of humor? Is he sharp? And is he quick-witted? You know, that will really raise your SMV.
Yeah. All right. On that note, on that bombshell, I guess we'll wrap it up.
All right, Rich. Good talking to you again. Next week?
Next week, same place, same time. Actually, you know what? Next week, I'm in Orlando next week. I'm meeting up with Anthony and Rollo. And I'm coming back on the 28th at night. So I think we're going to have to skip next week.
All right, then 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So we'll be back on February 4th.
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys later. Peace out.